What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I don't even have to say the original intro because I'm sure y'all got it by now. But for the people that's just now tuning in for the first time, grab what you need to relax, whether that's a cigarette, a drink, a beer, a spliff, a snack, some food, or even if you just want to kick your feet up and lean back in the chair. So, go grab what you need to relax so we can react. All right, so with that being said, I came across this channel right here, or not channel, but this video, and yeah, it's an OnlyFans model accused of a man's death. So we about to see what's up with that, what she do.
Mr. Dale asking Ms. Ryler's Dan to do certain things for him. He was asking her to buy boots and glue them on his feet with Gorilla Glue. He was asking her
What?
to buy
Yo,
and glue them in his mouth. And he also asked her
with
to
Gorilla Glue?
pour pools of Gorilla Glue into his eyes to glue them shut so that she was the last girl that he would ever.
Yeah, this man is bugging. This man is bugging. Like this, they came out strong on this video. My man's talking about Gorilla Glue in his eyes, some boots to his feet, pouring Gorilla Glue in his mouth. Like that sound like he was trying to set her up because come on now, everybody know a Gorilla Glue dude. Yeah, everybody remember the girl with the wig or the you know what I mean she not the wig but she Gorilla Glued her hair. We know what Gorilla Glue do.
See.
This morning, our spotlight is shining on a case out of California involving an OnlyFans model named Michaela Rylersdam. She's now a defendant facing murder charges after allegedly
Oh
asphyxiating a
man,
man
yeah,
by placing a plastic bag over his head
she looked
during what
like she be in the
prosecutors
front.
describe as a fatal fetish encounter. Here's what the victim's roommate said about the day of the incident.
Yeah, she be having fun.
I could just hear him say, "Can we stop? I'll pay you a certain amount more money to stop." And that's when I realized that it wasn't a friend. He had no shirt on. It looked to be like a pair of sweats. And then from his feet to about his waist was wrapped in saran wrap.
Like clear plastic wrap?
Yeah. And then his hands were above his head, and they were tied up.
So this is helpful testimony that came in
That's some
during
weird
Michaela
madness right there,
Rylersdam's
man.
preliminary hearing just last week. This was her in the courtroom. She was bound over for trial, and she's being held without any bond on those murder charges. So the question we're asking this morning, is she a criminal who needs to be held until this trial, or was this truly a sex act gone terribly wrong?
Honestly, if what the roommate said, he can hear them doing whatever it is they doing, but then also heard, you know, he heard the guy say, "I'll pay you to stop." I mean, if she didn't stop, then me personally, I would consider that. You see what I'm saying? I would consider that. You know what I mean? A murder, basically. I mean, to me, it's like the same. It's the same concept. Like, okay, if a female tell you, if you're doing the do, whether it's consensual or not, right? And you doing the do, but yet she just whatever reason feel like she don't want to do it no more, and she say stop. If you go any further, what is that considered? So if this man sat here and told her to stop and then offered to pay, but yet she continued because she took advantage of the situation because dude had his legs bound with saran wrap, had his leg or his hands above his head, tied up, whatever the case may be. He was literally under her submission. You see what I'm saying? And I think she, my personal opinion, if that's the case, she took it way too far. So I would say she guilty. What y'all think? Put in a comment below what y'all think. She guilty or not? Me personally, she guilty. She should have stopped when dude said stop, and he said he's gonna pay to stop, which means that's his way of begging.
Let's bring in our expert guest to discuss this. Criminology expert, author, and professor Dr. Debbie Goodman is with us, and so is Amanda Dames. She's a certified sexologist and a former professional dominatrix. Good morning to both of you ladies. So, Amanda, let me begin with
I don't mean to pause it that quick, but what the hell is a professional dominatrix? I've never heard that in my entire life. What the hell is a professional dominatrix? And look, she happy to be getting questions asked. She this is a promotion for her professional dominatrix business or whatever the hell she do behind closed doors when she's not on TV.
you here, please. We know that with this trial, there are going to be conversations that come into case evidence about fetish, about dominatrix work. When you look at this case, having done that type of work and having expertise in this area, tell us what you see, please.
I see a client who had an extreme fantasy, but I think that anyone who was paying attention would know that this is not something you would actually do for someone. Any common
Hold up, man. Let me pause and see what this is. Her name is Amanda Dames. Her bio is the kink consultant, relation or sex and relationship coach, former professional dominatrix. Basically, what y'all should have said, one word, freak. She a freak. You know what I mean? She don't even look like a freak though. You know what I mean? She look like a regular average girl. So now this just taught me something. Yo, the ones that be all dolled up and stuff like that, though, you know what I mean? Yeah, they easy. You know what I mean? They may do a little little something strange for a piece of change and stuff. But the ones that look like her, normal, innocent looking, those is the freaks. Those are the freaks. Professional dominatrix.
sense would tell you do not make it so that someone cannot breathe for minutes on end, don't block airways. And I see a dominatrix or a professional here who was throwing safety to the side and just doing whatever the client asked. And there needs to be a little bit of like, okay, here's the fantasy they're having, and here's how I can make it sort of real for them without actually fulfilling every request they have.
Sure. Amanda, tell me, when we heard that witness's testimony a moment ago, and I wrote down what he said he heard his roommate saying, "Can we stop? And I'll pay you to
And that's
stop,"
when it
with the
should have
statements
ended
he's
right
saying he
there.
overheard his roommate making before his death. What, if anything, do those statements indicate to you in terms of whether there were any mistakes made by this dominatrix?
It sounds like this client wanted for this session to stop and was even willing to pay more just to get out of the situation.
That's a fact, but also, I mean, I don't. I remember when here in New York, there was a dude, and he was with his girl or whatever, and they was doing the adult thing. You see what I'm saying? They was getting it in. You feel me? And she liked that rough, you know what I mean? That rough business. So she asked him to choke. You see what I'm saying? To choke her, basically. And like she wanted him to go basically damn near till she passed out. But then he took it too far. Even though that's what she wanted, she ended up, you know what I mean, dying and stuff like that. But he ended up still getting charged with the murder. I don't see no difference in this. You see what I'm saying? At least this guy said stop. She couldn't say stop. She was, passed out. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Normally, if you're practicing this type of work safely, you have a safe word that just means absolutely stop. If they hadn't set it up, that request tells me that this person wanted it to stop.
Appreciate it,
right.
Amanda Dames. Let's take a listen together to what the deputy medical examiner, Dr. Deborah Barry, said at this hearing. So she was the one who did the autopsy on the victim, and here she's relating the cause and the manner of death. Here we go.
So for over 17 years, I thought that I had a problem with this, but I actually didn't. And I want you to consider
Go
for
figure.
a second, just entertain me.
Essentially, there was a lack of oxygen to the brain because of the plastic wrapping around the head, leading to fatal injury.
death?
Homicide.
Manner of death, homicide.
Right.
What does it mean, homicide?
In forensic medicine, it means the death was caused by another person or the actions of another person.
Does that have to be intentional?
No.
All right, yo. All right, so she said, all right, we could read right there. It says the victim died of asphyxiation, meaning obviously suffocation. It's just the proper word. But that's a grown woman. Why would she cover up, even if that's what he wanted? She ain't had no boundaries. She, you know what I mean? Like, why would you wrap his head up in the saran wrap? And even if he couldn't breathe and his body was like tied up, the fact that you're looking at this man and you know you wrapped his entire body in saran wrap, like this was that movie with Jamie Foxx and Tommy Davidson. You see what I'm saying? Booty call. You know what I mean? The fact that you did that, I'm sure homeboy was wiggling. You see what I'm saying? That's what your body's natural response is gonna be. You see what I'm saying? During times like that. So you know what I mean? Like she didn't see that and didn't click in her head. Something's not right. The fact, man, she guilty, man. She guilty. I don't care what nobody say. She guilty. Point blank. Period. I don't care if dude paid. You know what I mean? He said stop and you still continued. You know what I mean?
What are other manners of death?
Natural, accident, suicide, and undetermined in the state.
And you determined not to classify this as accidental.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, the prosecutor clarifying there, as you saw, Dr. Debbie Goodman making sure
Because it
that
wasn't.
the judge understood this was a deliberate distinction made on that autopsy report to not characterize this as accidental. Dr. Debbie, being an expert in the field of criminology, do you see any criminal intent on these facts? Tell us what you see, if you would, please.
Good morning. I see this, Julie, as a sexual homicide, a lust murder, in which this defendant, Miss Rylersdam, acted with such extreme and severe negligence and recklessness. She was really ultimately playing Russian roulette with Mr. Dale's life. And I feel that this wanton disregard for his health, his safety, his life, his well-being is absolutely characterized by the conduct displayed involving the saran wrap, the glue, the bag on the face, and he was in such a debilitating, incapacitated state that he couldn't even save himself. So
Right.
I agree with the
Right.
ME, and I think this is the right classification, and it is a murder.
Dr. Debbie, tell us, do you think that this defendant is a danger to society if she were to be given a bond before her trial?
Yes, Julie, if this is her type of work, and she were to continue the work, we could have another fatality. So I am in agreement. I know it's a controversial case. Some, may think it's a fetish accident. I understand and respect if there's that alternate viewpoint, but I see it much differently. And I think that we have this excessive and extreme conduct, which would suggest to me that this individual's decision making is so flawed, and that the gratification in these sexual homicides and lust murders comes from the individual being in the power, control, and dominating role, to where one would potentially allow a death to another. So I think it is being tried appropriately, and I would agree with the denial of bail.
Such great insight you both are offering us. Let's take a look at Michaela Rylersdam's business video. We have a look at.
I mean, would I consider her a threat to society? I mean, I personally I wouldn't, because it's not like she's going around doing like, it's not like she's going out there doing this to random people. You see what I'm saying? It's not like she's out there like looking to take people's lives, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? Like the people that she's gonna encounter are the people that is hiring her for things. The fact that this is on like the news or whatever, this is basically gonna take a blow to her business. So the fact that she's involved in that, I don't think anybody's gonna really want to, you know what I mean, do business with her anymore. So I don't I wouldn't consider her a threat to society in that term. You see what I'm saying? Because yeah, she is playing like Russian roulette. Whoever hires her is playing like Russian roulette. But I mean, if once this get out, me personally, I wouldn't do no business with her after hearing something like that. I don't know if y'all would do it. You know what I mean? Some people like that adrenaline. You know what I mean? But man, the hell with that. I ain't doing that.
Kind of her advertisement for what she does.
This is the year of business. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and we get that. I've never felt that everybody was meant to be a stripper forever. I know that this is something where you get in and you get out. You need people in your corner to help you grow. I did, and so I know what that means for our girls. I know what that means for our guys.
Okay, so that was just a little sample of her prior to
Should let her
the
finish.
commencement of this case. And we know the judge denied the request for bond. She's going to remain in custody. So now we're looking forward to trial, forward to getting more information about how Michael Dale died. Amanda Dames, let me go back to you, please. Given your area of expertise with sexology and
The freak.
dominatrix work, what are
The
some of the
low-key
things
freak.
that are top of mind for you that you're interested to learn about how exactly this death might have occurred during this paid-for session?
Well, I want to know what conversation happened beforehand. How did he communicate what he wanted? Where did it start? And what led up to how extreme the session got? I mean, as soon as someone is asking for like glue to be involved and just things that are not safe for the body, you kind of have to think like, at what point did she decide like, oh yeah, this is something I'm going to do? Because common sense, as I said, was out the window. Um, I'd be interested to know where the conversation started. Had they talked to each other before? It sounds like this was their first time meeting. And if there was any other type of work that they did over the phone that led her to think that this was something this person truly wanted, because it sounds like a disturbed request. And I would assume that the client was disturbed if they asked for it.
Excellent insight, Amanda. Tell me something. I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues about this, how my lawyer brain goes to not all contracts have to be in writing. There can be oral agreements that are made.
I mean, yeah, dude probably was disturbed and stuff like that, but at the same token, I mean, if she was in the same line of work, I mean, let's not act like nobody ever requested some wild stuff. Maybe not to the point where it'll lead up to what this situation is about, but I mean, people got some weird fetishes out there. You see what I'm saying? And I think homegirl, she went not like she kind of went, overboard with it. Dude could have been paying her a super bag. I won't even say super bag, but a bag. He could have been dropping thousands. You see what I'm saying? But that ain't no excuse. The thing is, she would have got more money if she would have stopped. Dude said, "I'll pay you to stop." You know what I mean?
Where someone promises something, a service, someone exchanges money with the other person. In this work, typically, are there ever written contracts or are most of them oral agreements?
No, so it is mostly oral agreements. There can be written contracts, especially if you have a client who's a regular, but for the most part, it is all oral. You have
She
like a
got some
discussion about
regulars.
what the person wants.
She
You
got some
agree on
regulars.
some boundaries,
She see
usually a
them every
safe word,
weekend.
and then you just go for it.
I appreciate it, Amanda. We have a couple of minutes, I'm being told. Dr. Debbie, let me go to you next, please.
After 3 years of therapy, this is what I figured out. There's talking to someone, and then there's talking to the right someone. I met my...
In terms of, as we're getting ready for trial, we know there's lots of discovery out there that the public, is not privy to. I'm curious, what are some of the things that you're most looking forward to learning about as we move forward and the case is bound over in terms of how this occurred and what intentionality Ms. Reilersdam might have had with the acts here? What are some of the questions you have, please, Dr. Debbie?
Right. I would want to know first and foremost, Julie, the fact patterns. I appreciate what Amanda said as well about a discussion preceding. This case also, by the way, reminds me of a case from decades
She
ago
sound like she
that
got
you and that your
dentures.
team and the Courties may remember. It was called the Preppy murder case out of New York, whereby
She be
Robert
putting that
Chambers,
poly grip.
Jennifer Levin were involved in intimacy. She was strangled, and the defense was based upon this agreement of some type of fetish. Well, it ended up being a 9 day try, with the jury deciding they
I
couldn't
think
reach a decision on the murder charge, and he ultimately pled to manslaughter.
so. Yeah,
So
she was
I'm
talking
just
about the same
wondering
thing that.
about the actual fact patterns before, during, and after. I think that's very important. And also just the reasonableness of this defendant to understand, is it reasonable or unreasonable for an individual to be in a debilitated, incapacitated state where he could not even potentially save himself, even if he wanted to? And did she derive pleasure from the power, control, and authority that she had over him? If so, for me, it's murder.
Great question.
Facts. I ain't even gonna lie. I would agree with all three of them. You know what I mean? Um, I would, she should go to prison. She should go to jail. Straight up. I mean, dude told her to stop. You know what I mean? That's it. As soon as dude says stop, you see what I'm saying? I don't want to do this anymore. I'll pay you more money to stop, or I'll pay you to stop. That's when she should have packed it up, took the money, and went on to the next client. You know what I mean? But instead, you know what I mean? She like they said, man, it was that power, it was that control. You see what I'm saying? Too much for her to hold. You know what I mean? And and she took it too far. She ended up killing the dude. So, you know what I mean? She a criminal. She should get locked up. So with that being said, man, hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for tuning in with this reaction video. We got some more videos coming up. You see what I'm saying? Just stay tuned. All right. Peace.